Hi friends, and welcome back to playing tribute to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Oh, Professor Layton is right there. Look at that. Anyway, last time we accused the butler of, turning Mr. Layton, into gold and accusing Maya, or framing Maya, for the crime. And also maybe being responsible for the death of his master 3 months ago? That was also a thing. The bell tower is still a mystery too. It's a lot of, there's a lot of weird stuff happening. This world is weird. But anyway, Luke was on the witness stand, and we were trying to kind of convince him back to our side. He seemed to be lightening up a little bit because he got to talk to the parrot, and that kind of helped some things. We found that Godor was a spell that was used, which is giving a portal across the wall. And we're going to see whether the gems in the staff are true magical gems. So a lot of things happening. Let's jump right back into it. So, it's gotta be that, young butler? I know what you're thinking. I couldn't quite believe it at first, either. Yeah. Sorry. It's because this goes so slowly. I couldn't quite believe it at first, either. But the evidence and circumstances all point to the butler. He or she has to be the witch. At least, it'll be certain if the magic gem turns out to be a fake. But if that's the case, then Beldig's murderer was also... Yeah, it would be Grey Earl. No, it can't be true. He wouldn't have done that. Miss Villa? I know Jean. He held Sir Beldig in the greatest of respect. Jean didn't kill him. I'm sure of it. Jean Grey Earl. Are you really what people think you are? There's still so many unknown factors in this trial. Ah! Oh, hey, Luke. What's up, buddy? It's Luke! Oh, also, Maya was able to come out of her cage during the recess. That's nice of them to take her out of there. I'm sorry, Maya. What I did was unforgivable. What are you saying, Luke? All you did was testify about what you saw. But I should have trusted you. Well, you trust us now, right? Maya. Anyway, Luke, it was thanks to you that we discovered new information. Thanks to me? Sure, you got Cracker to testify. That was a great idea. I wish I could talk to animals. Don't you too, Isabella? Oh yes, I'd love to have a chat with Eve. So, Luke, will you teach us how to do it? Pretty please? Yeah, of course, I can try. Hey, that's a promise, right? Aw, she's just trying to cheer him up. It's so sweet. Mr. Wright? Hmm? What is it, Luke? Do you mind if I join you from now on? Not at all, Luke. I realized during the trial that in this strange town, even what you see with your own eyes may not be real. That's why I'm not giving up yet. Professor, I know he'll return. We can't give up hope. You know, that's what I've been thinking too. Really? I have a feeling he'll reappear again when we get into trouble and help us out. As he is wont to do. Because, I mean, it's the professor we're talking about here. Right. And remember what he always says? Look forward to the future. Always look on the bright side. I don't think it was the professor who said that. Defender accused. The intermission's over. Return to the courtroom. Let's go. It's time to bring this trial to a close. Oh, I have something for you, Mr. Wright. Here, please take it. Maybe it'll come in handy in the trial. A letter, huh? Let's see who it's from. Wait, Newton Belduke? There are several sheets of parchment inside, but they're all blank. The professor and I got this when we went to see the storyteller. Thank you, Luke. The more info we have, the better. You're welcome. I think it's invisible ink. Still think it's invisible ink. We've got no proof that it was Jean Greyrell who turned the professor into gold. Even if the magic gem is fake, it's still not decisive evidence. It's always about the decisive evidence. I don't know what will happen next, but I do know this battle's far from over. Always about the decisive evidence. Oh, Maya's back in her cage. It is like a bird cage over the fire. We will now resume the trial of Maya Fey. First things first, the occult crime analysts have finished examining the evidence. They've tested the 2 magic gems from the witch's scepter. The gold ore floated on the surface of the water, whereas Malia sank. It was said that genuine magic gems float in pure water, wasn't it? Thus it has been established that the Themalia magic gem is a fake. Just as we thought. I love how Layton's gold statue is just here with us. So, for moral support. Order, order, order in the court. This is not proof that gold ore was used, of course. Nonetheless, if its theory does now seem more plausible, the court considers it's worth looking into. You've no objection to that, do you, Mr. Barnum? No, my lord. Now then, bring in the witness. Witness singular? Okay, looks like we're one-on-one with him. Witness, state your name and profession. My name is Jean Greyrell. I serve the late Master Belduke. Since his death, I've been tending to his dwelling and putting his research materials in order. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something a bit different about Greyrell today. Oh, now he doesn't have any stone. He's missing the stone, the brooch altogether now. When we saw him earlier, he was wearing a green one, though, right? Like, that was definitely there. Witness, there's something we need to clarify first of all. As you are no doubt aware, you have been accused of being a witch. Therefore, it's vital that you tell us. Are you a boy or a girl? This sounds like the beginning of a Pokemon game. Are you a boy or a girl? Please hold on. What is it? Excuse my rudeness, my lord, but at this time, I do not intend to answer that question. Why do you refuse to answer, witness? I had been following this child from the gallery, and so I'm fully aware of the utterly absurd accusations made against me. Alchemy, the art pursued by Master Belduke, is concerned with the rules and logic that govern nature. As someone who had been helping Master Belduke for quite some time, I dare say your theory is both illogical and possible.
Objection!
The witch's scepter was thrown into the crime scene through a portal created by the magical spell Godor. That portal could only have been opened from your room. And what's more, one of the walls in your room is painted green. I believe anyone is free to paint their walls in whichever color they please. Besides, your theory relies on one magic gem being a fake. While that may have been proven true, another question has arisen. Where could the genuine magic gem be? You put it somewhere, I don't know where. You were wearing it a second ago. It must have been swapped with the fake one and discarded somewhere. I'm afraid that's impossible. Why? If we assume, as you've claimed, that the witch used the spell Godor, that would mean the magic gem was simply swapped after creating the portal. So tell me when and where would the witch have disposed of the magic gem? I see your point. Several people paid witness to the incident, and the Knights of the Inquisition arrived at the scene immediately after. During that time, no one left the building, and the whole place was meticulously searched. searched as well, although there was not much to see, besides few personal belongings. Despite our inspection, nothing resembling a magic gem was found. I assure you we have not overlooked anything. I would have swear to it on my honor as a knight. So, Mr. Wright, if you wish to accuse me of being a witch, should you not first prove that there is a connection between me and this missing magic gem? Furthermore, I would appreciate it if you could please approach the matter in a rational way, like an alchemist. The house was searched very soon after the crime. If the gem wasn't found, then it means Greor hid it somewhere. Somewhere the Knights of the Inquisition would not have looked. Could it be? They weren't allowed to touch anything and move anything around, right? The witnesses made a valid argument. How will the defense respond? The knights who searched Sir Belduke's premises weren't looking for a magic gem. And that's why there's a certain place they didn't consider searching. Interesting. You really don't give up easily, do you? In that case, perhaps you could tell us all where the magic gem is. It's in his possession. Because I saw it on him just a moment ago. Sir Belduke's premises were thoroughly searched. I don't think anything would have been missed there. You anticipated that, and that's why you hid it in a blind spot that you knew wouldn't occur to the knights. A blind spot, you say? Well, where is it? It's somewhere on Jean Greor's person. What? It's on the witness? Don't tell me the witness has it in their pocket. You're just guessing, aren't you? You think you can just say anything you like. By the way, I'm afraid there are no pockets in my clothing. Oh wait, is it under the scarf? Is that what that, like, weird shape there is? I thought at first it was just the folds of the scarf, but it might be under it now. This is the second time I've seen Greor today. And both times I've had a feeling that something wasn't quite right. Maybe it's just me, but it could be related to the whereabouts of the magic gem. Defense, show us the location of the magic gem. Where do you think this witness hid the magic gem on the day of the crime? Do I get a magnifying glass? Yes, I do. Okay. Right there.
Got it!
Witness? We met for the first time at Sir Belduke's premises. At that time, you had an amethyst attached to your collar. Oh, that's right. Mr. Greor always wears that gemstone. Alchemists believe that amethysts emit positive energy. Amethysts are purple. But when I saw you in the waiting room this morning, it was green. The gemstone you were wearing was green, not purple. So my question now is, where has it gone? Where is that amethyst that you supposedly always wear?
Objection!
Wait just a minute. The witness wears a purple gemstone. Is something amiss, Inquisitor Bottom? When we arrived at the crime scene, the witness came out to meet us. I recall the witness wearing a gemstone, and the gemstone was green. Bardham's picking up what I'm putting down. Green? Amethysts aren't green. Although amateurs sometimes mistake Paisley light for amethyst, but that's irrelevant now. Witness, you've been trying to pin the blame on the defendant. In order to do that, you replaced the Godor magic gem with a regular gemstone. You thought the witch who killed Sir Belduke could use the spell Themalia. You knew that if a witch's scepter was the Themalia and Godor magic gems attached was discovered at the crime scene, the suspect would be accused of committing both crimes, and that's precisely what happened. The girl captured at the crime scene was accused of slaying both Sir Belduke and Sir Layton. That was your plan. You removed the Godor magic stone from the scepter and inserted your amethyst in its place. And then, you attached the Godor gem to your collar. That's why when we saw you shortly after the incident, you were wearing a green gemstone. To think that was in fact a magic gem. I'm glad Barnum's with me now. Let's do it. Teamwork it.
Order! Order! Witness, is that true?
The times that they choose to do this, the voice acting, is very strange.
This amounts to nothing more than conjecture. I do not believe you have any solid proof. However, I have to concede that you have surmised a logical connection between me and the missing magic gem.
Search him.
Consequently, I am prepared to answer your questions.
Good. I will repeat what I asked you previously. Witness, state your name, profession, and finally, your gender.
My name is Jean Grail. I have been serving the late Master Belduke. As you can see, I wear a butler's outfit. But the truth is, as the defense claims, I am a girl.
The voice didn't necessarily have to change there.
A girl? Unbelievable.
What? The butler is a girl?
Order in the court. Jean Grail, are you declaring to this court that you are in fact female? Yes. But everyone in town was under the impression that you are a boy. Did you hear that? The butler's a girl. Doesn't that make him or her a maid? I knew there was something suspicious about him. I mean her. You know why, right? Think about it. All that alchemy? That's mighty suspicious. Just listen to them. Listen to the wild gossip and accusations. Alchemists pursue knowledge of the rules that govern nature. For the townspeople, alchemy is no different than magic. Had they known I was a girl, they would have taken me for a witch. But you are a witch. That's what Master Belduke was worried about. He told me it would be safer to pretend to be a boy. In other words, you disclose that you're a female, but deny that you're a witch. I could have thought that was obvious. She knew that once her gender came into question, she wouldn't have been able to conceal it. That's why she made this public now. It was the most rational choice for her. Inquisitor Barnum, may I ask you one question? Has all the evidence in this golden gentleman case already been presented? Won't you ask? As it stands, you do not have a single piece of evidence proving that I'm a witch. Given the lack of pertinent evidence against me, I would like to be permitted to return to my duties. Of course you would, because you always want to flee, like the flower girl last court session. You'd say you would, Mr. Barnum. Come on, Barnum, you gotta be with me here. It has been proven that the two gems were swapped. However, it may have also been possible for the accused to have done so.
Objection!
Maya had no reason to swap the gems. This is a place of judgment. There's no need for us to understand the reasons behind criminals' actions. Huh? After all, those whom we judge are otherworldly creatures. They are witches. It's impossible for a human being to understand the reasoning of a witch. Is there nothing we can do? At this rate, Maya will be... Barnum still thinks Maya is a witch. We've made it this far, and yet it feels like we're back at stage 1. It seems there are no more rational arguments against me. Now, if you will kindly excuse me. I don't have much on Grail when it comes to the professor's case. But should I just let her go? No. can ask about Belduke's case. Something else I can follow up on regarding the professor's case. So what can I do? There's only one other option. Miss Grayrel, I have to ask you to remain at the witness stand. Is there something else you wish to ask me? Your testimony is not over yet. There's still something you need to tell us about. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I cannot help you. I have told you all I could about this incident. And I'm afraid you've got the wrong idea, Miss Grayrel. Your Honor, what this witness needs to testify about is not the professor's unfortunate incident, but rather the incident from 3 months ago, namely Sir Belduke's death. As she was present in the building at the time working as a live-in butler, she needs to testify about the events of that day. About Sir Belduke's death. The fact that one of the magic gems was swapped leads me to a single conclusion. Both crimes, the murder of Sir Belduke and the transmutation of the professor, were the work of the same witch. The truth behind the alchemist's death may also hold the answer to this case. What is your opinion on this, Inquisitor Barnum? Barnum, I'll allow you to have your way this time, so will unite. The Inquisition has no objections. Inquisitor Zacharias Barnum, it seems you have lost that unyielding attitude so admired by the townspeople. Here you are now letting a novice defender lead you by the nose. It is hard to believe you have been known as the unwavering sword of justice for your usually cool-headed judgment. You know little about me, witness. Do you think I care about defending my name? It's this town that I wish to defend. Good for you, Barnum. Sir Belduke's murder is the only case to have remained unsolved for so long. Jean Grayrel, we shall now testify about it. The little smile. As demanded by both the defense and Inquisition, the witness will testify about Sir Belduke's death. Any questions? No, my lord. I must, however, mention one more thing before we begin. It cannot be proven that Jean Grayrel is a witch, as claimed by the defense. The court will irrevocably consider Maya Fey to be the witch responsible for both crimes. Is that understood? Gulp. We have no choice, Sir Blue Knight. If you don't want the trial to end right now, ready your sword and face the challenge that awaits. But the opponent is a real witch. It's a gamble that puts Maya's life at stake.
Nick! Nick!
Shh, you're supposed to be quiet, Maya. Shh, shh. Maya.
No witch is gonna outwit you in court. You're an ace attorney after all. So, let's do it!
The defense accepts these conditions. Let's proceed with the trial. Inquisitor Barnum, you may begin. We shall start with a brief summary of the incident. About 3 months ago, in the dead of night, Sir Belduke the alchemist was murdered. The crime took place in a study. Just as with this incident, the room had been locked from the inside. The victim was found still seated in the chair at his desk, so we can assume he was attacked while working. There are very clear strangulation marks visible on his neck. Oh. There's something trickling down from his mouth. Is that blood? Yes, Yes, most likely. The victim probably bit his tongue as he was struggling with his assailant. And you said earlier that some white powder was spilled all over the floor, correct? Yes. Hence, we expected to find the killer's footprints, however. There were none. The killer must have somehow approached the victim without stepping on the floor. After murdering Sir Belduke, the killer left the room without opening the door. Undoubtedly, the crime must have been committed with the use of witchcraft. The body was discovered the following morning by the butler, Miss Gray. The body was found by Grey Earl, huh? That's gonna be helpful for her. Thank you, Mr. Bottom. The court illustrator's sketches will be added to the evidence. Okay, we got 3 sketches. So I'm thinking that the powder was hiding something, like somebody spilled it on purpose. I don't know. Let's look at these pictures again, just for the sake of what we need to do here. There's a letter. The green is still back there behind the picture. So it could have been reaching through with their arm. They mentioned that before, reaching through with the arm. Clear strangulation marks, blood dripping from his mouth. That letter being there again. Is that a stone? What is that? See that thing in the upper right corner? What is that? And then the powder on the floor. And then what's that, like, belt-like thing that's dangling down there from the chair? Was he tied to the chair? Tell us about the events spanning the night of the crime, from the evening beforehand until you discovered the body. At around 1 o'clock at night, I excused myself and left Master Belduke in his study. When I called him for breakfast in the morning, he did not respond. The door to his study was locked. A neighbor had come for a visit just then, so we forced the door open together. All the potions and other concoctions in the study had been confiscated. I wonder if they're being properly stored. Potions and concoctions were confiscated? The victim was an alchemist, after all. We were hoping that the items confiscated from his study could provide some clues. Besides, such things must not fall into the wrong hands. It may not be standard practice, but it was deemed necessary. The confiscated goods are stored in our secret vault. The only person with access to them is the High Inquisitor, Lady Darklaw. It has caused me great difficulty, as I have not been able to put Master's research materials in order as a result. The confiscated items shall be returned as soon as Sir Belduke's murder is resolved. I shall be looking forward to that. Defense, you may begin the interrogation.
Hold it!
That's everything. So you last saw him alive at 1 a.m., is that correct? Yes. Master had a habit of conducting his experiments at night, so it was the usual time for me to finish my work. Weren't you helping him with those experiments? He would sometimes have some errands for me, but alchemists generally keep their experiments a secret. That's why I would always excuse myself at that time, unless Master had some other tasks for me. And that night there was no more work for you. That's correct. I wished Master a good night as I shut the door behind me and then heard him lock the key. There was nothing unusual about him. At least nothing I noticed.
Hold it!
And what time was that? Master would always take his breakfast at 9 a.m., so it was around that time. So you didn't have the key to Sir Belduke's study. Is that correct? Yes. There's only one key to that room, and Master always kept it with him. Master's research was a very delicate matter, you see. We had to take strict measures to prevent outsiders from entering that room. Occasionally, delinquents would try to make off with one or the other of the Master's medicaments. Thieves stealing from an alchemist? I can't tell if that's incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. Probably the latter. That's why the door to that room is made from thick oak wood. I wouldn't have been able to force the door open on my own. She couldn't have entered the room before that, then.
Hold it!
Wait, you mean you broke the door? The only key to the room was in Sir Belduke's pocket. The only way to enter the study was to break the door open. And you managed that with the help of a neighbor who came to visit. Yes, it wasn't a social visit, mind. He came as a patient. A patient? Can you tell me more about him?
Objection!
The victim's neighbor is irrelevant. It has nothing to do with this case. How do you know? I think you're pushing it this time. A witness is hardly irrelevant. Wait, were you the patient? What's got him so shaken? He looks as if he just had a rush of blood to his head. Master Belduke has been making very potent medicines, among other things. We get people coming from the town at all hours of the day or night asking for them. Yet in return for all the help Master offered, people would gossip about him, dabbling in witchcraft. So you broke the door together with a neighbor. Yes, when I explained the situation to him, he brought over an axe. Then he proceeded to attack the door with great force, smashing it to splinters. I see. By the way, about that neighbor.
Hold it! It's time for Emir's grand entrance.
Oh my gosh.
Did you miss me, guys?
Give it a rest, Amir. No, we did not. Go away. Leave us alone.
Order! Order! Could it be
There's
that
no
it
way.
was you who...
There's no way he was the one.
Where are you looking, old man? I'm right here. And as for who I am, I'm the alchemist's neighbor and a witness in that case too.
Okay, that's why Barnum had such a problem. He didn't want to deal with this guy. Oh gosh, dude. Passion for justice seething within. Amir is always at the crime scene.
Objection!
It's you again. You're the guy from earlier, right? Yep, that's me. Amir's the name. How you been, Bluey? Are you really the alchemist's neighbor? Seriously? I know, right? Freaky coincidence, eh? But yeah, his house is next to mine. Ridiculed earlier, Amir returns. Drinking like a king. He's never ever learns. That's why I tried to stop you from asking about the neighbor. Yeah, thanks, Barnum. That was a good try. Huh? Why so cold, Inquisitor Barnum? Unable to hold his steady, cold gaze, Amir drinks fast, as if in a daze. And the musician standing next to you? Yeah, that's my private bard, Birdley. A right musical genius. Oh, jeez. Hold on. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Dearie me. Well, no use shutting the stable door after the horse is bolted. Let us move on. Witness, since you're already here, you may as well add your testimony. Testify about what you witnessed on the morning after the crime. You can count on me. Dawned on me then. The witch cast Familia, just like in this case.
Hold it!
Why did you think that he cast Familia? Can you tell me what caused that sudden realization? Sure thing. When the Inquisitors came round, I went to have a little peek at the crime scene. when I heard him talking about it. I was surprised because they must have come to the same conclusion as me. Crikey, they can do their job, them Inquisitors, I thought. It had to be Familia. So he was eavesdropping. If I happen to see the Familia user, I'll arrest him myself. Witness, you are testifying in court. Can you not restrain yourself a bit? Was that... Don't just... I gotta have this to keep my spirits up? It's a potent medicine. Tis a drink a mere lives to savor, with an intoxicating scent and flavor. Anyway... This is a waste of time. I should be looking for decisive contradictions. Witnesses continue testimonies.
Hold it!
Those items were confiscated 3 months ago. You still haven't gotten them back? No, not a single thing. Even though many of those were personal items with no relevance to the crime. Now that I think about it, that room did look pretty empty. As I said, the victim was an alchemist, and amongst his possessions were some very dangerous concoctions. But he did produce medicines to aid sick townspeople as well, to give him his due. Indeed, alchemy is highly beneficial to the townspeople, even if they fail to notice it. It may be beneficial, but it also inspires fear. People fear what they do not understand. At any rate, I cannot return the items to you until Sir Belduke's case is solved. That's what High Inquisitor Darklaw has decided. And the confiscated goods are being kept in a secret vault by the Knights of the Inquisition. Even the Inquisitors cannot freely enter that vault, strictly supervised. That's all they have to say, huh? I really didn't expect him to appear, but maybe I should be used to it by now. Excuse me, Mr. Wright. Sorry to interrupt your train of thought. Hmm? Oh, that's okay. What is it? I'm wondering if it's just me, but I've been thinking about Mr. Emily's testimony. I think what he said is a little strange, isn't it? Yeah. How can I put it? It's pretty obviously contradictory. He was so keen to testify. Maybe we should give him some attention to point those contradictions out. What a good idea, Luke. I have an idea of what it is that is contradictory. Oh wait, just like in this case. Is that what it's talking about?
Objection!
Okay, yeah. There's something you don't seem to understand here, Mr. Amir. The Familia gem in the Witch's Scepter is a fake. The gem is useless. Just like this buffoon's testimony. Huh? Therefore, your testimony doesn't hold water. Just like anything else, he says. What? Ignored and scorned, without credibility. Will majestic Amir now show humility? What? A fake? I should have listened to the trial more carefully. Now that has been dealt with. Inquisitor Barnum, this witch's scepter was not discovered at the crime scene when Sir Belduke was murdered, is that correct? Indeed. We deduce that Familia must have been used, however.
Objection!
But that Familia magic gem was a fake. That much has been demonstrated today. What's more, as we learned from Cracker the Parrot's testimony, the witch used the spell Godor. fact that there's a green wall at the crime scene corroborates that.
Objection!
That wall may well not have been painted green there 3 months ago. I have proof that it was. I saw it. Besides, no relatives have passed through the portal so small. To be honest, I've started wondering where Sir Layton and Sir Belduke's murders actually committed by the same witch.
Objection!
That's what we're trying to figure out there. Your Honor, I'd like to remind you that it was the Inquisition's claim. That's right, though. It's going to be the same culprit in both cases. And at the very least, it's possible that the witch used the spell Godor to commit Sir Belduke's murder. What? In that case, I would ask the defense to show proof. Proof that the witch could have used Godor to kill Sir Belduke.
Take that!
I'd like you to take a look at these. Aren't those the court illustrator sketches? As you can see from this sketch, the victim was seated at his desk when he was murdered. And what can you see right behind the victim? A small landscape painting. Thank you, Inquisitor. But there's one more point of note. Look closely at the painting. Do you notice anything behind it? Oh, I see it. The wall behind it had already been painted green. Which means the witch could have used the portal spell there 3 months ago.
Objection!
1 moment, my lord. Consider how small that portal would have been. Could a witch have passed through it? I think not.
Objection!
Of course the witch would not be able to go right through it. However, if you look at the distance between the portal and the victim, you'll notice the victim, Sir Belduke, was sitting just at arm's length from where the portal would have been. The witch did not have to enter the room at all. All she had to do was reach through with her arms in order to strangle Sir Belduke, who was sitting right under the painting. There we go. We've come to the part that I was thinking was going on. Oh, Order, Inquisitor Bard, what say you to that? Fascinating theory, Sir Blue Knight. But there is a notable contradiction with it. Where would that be? Tell me, why do you think we concluded that Famalia had to have been used? We had a certain reason for it, of course. And what was the reason exactly? The crime scene had been tampered with. Or so. Imagine the circumstances of Sir Belduke's death, and it should become obvious even to you. The victim was choked to death. And yet there was no signs of a struggle. Probable, don't you think? What are you getting at? Think about it. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should be evidence of struggle. I mean, he's got a point. Since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. Indeed, that would be the logical conclusion. Now surely it would be impossible to do any such thing under the children reached inside through a portal. In order to cover up the evidence she left behind, the witch had to have used a familiar. Without doing so, there would not have been a point to her using the spell Godor.
Objection!
Miss Grayrell could have done it. She may have been able to tamper with the crime scene. What are you talking about? The morning of the crime, from the time Miss Grayrell and that guy entered the study, until the arrival of the Knights of the Inquisition, there was a window of time in which she had an opportunity to do so. We need to look into what happened in that window. It seems we may be in need of another testimony. Witnesses testify about what happened in the time between the body being found and the Knights of the Inquisition arriving. Sure thing, ask me anything. I will tell you all you need to know. Oh, glorious Emir, tell us more. Maybe you won't be laughed at as before. Only 2 people accessed the crime scene in that time. Grayrell and Emir. Believe it or not, Emir is the key witness in this case. Again. Also, I'm starting to think he stole from the alchemist. Like that skull and crossbones thing. I broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair. Gave me a jolt. The butler hurried to call the Knights of the Inquisition. He never entered the study. What did I do then? Yes, I was asked to keep an eye on things, so I went in to have a bit of a look at everything. Well, that made me pretty drowsy, so I went and took a little nap on the couch. I'm sorry, what? Wait, what? Mr. Amir, you said the butler didn't enter the crime scene. Yep, he never set foot in there. The moment he saw Belduke, he told me to stand guard till the Knights of the Inquisition arrived. And then off he went. What a resourceful apprentice that alchemist has, I thought to myself. I almost feel sorry for you, Sir Blue Knight. After all, your suspect couldn't have tampered with the crime scene. I feel sorry for me. That can't be true. Defense, please proceed with the interrogation. Yes, Your Honor. I broke down the door and saw the alchemist slumped in his chair.
Hold it!
This is madness. Before you smashed the door, did you check that it was really locked? Of course I did. We tried to get it open without resorting to brute force, but it wouldn't budge. So I went to fetch my lovely little axe. His wooden enemy stood tall and still, yet Amir sprang forth. It was overkill. Did you think I lied about the door being locked? No, of course not. Boy, she's so smart. Sharp, she might cut herself. Or me, most likely me. So then I went inside. The alchemist was slumped in his chair. While we're at it, allow me to confirm something. When you entered the room, did the victim look the way he does in this sketch? Yep, that's it. Spot on. Nicely drawn, too. You know, at first, I didn't know if he was really dead. It looked like he was just passed out or something, tired from his research.
Hang on!
Miss Grayrell, may I ask you something? Yes, what is it? Anything about Mr. Amir's testimony? There's nothing amiss. However, Mr. Wright, I can tell what you're thinking. You can? Well, let's see if you're right. When he entered the room, Mr. Amir didn't notice that Mr. Belduke was dead. On the other hand, I ran straight away to call the Knights of the Inquisition. And so, you suspect that I knew beforehand that Master was dead. That's what you're thinking. Your face is like an open book. But isn't that exactly what happened? No, I knew something was wrong because Master had very fine manners and would never sleep in his chair. When I saw him like that, I was struck with a very bad realization. I felt certain that something terrible had happened. I've heard about you. The word is that you're very collected and perceptive. It would seem to be the case. It would be more appropriate to call her calculating. Somehow I feel like you're not paying me enough attention here. No, never. Matters not, witness. Let us proceed with the cross-examination. Matters not, eh? No need to be so rude about it. I'm gonna go back. I think she might have been trying to distract me.
Hold it!
The prince of his is real good. To be able to tell a single glance that the alchemist is done for. Okay.
Hold it!
Are you sure the butler didn't enter the crime scene? Yeah, like I said, didn't set foot in that room. I went in and sort of didn't know what to do, but the butler sussed out the situation in the blink of an eye. He told me to stand guard, and then he ran out. She went to call the Knights of the Inquisition, is that correct? That's correct. I went to the nearby garrison. I have the records of when the crime was reported. They matched the witness's testimony. I returned to Master Belduke's house with 2 knights. They began an investigation immediately, taking away Master's research materials and concoctions. In the end, I wasn't able to enter that room that day. There can be no doubt about it. As she is the alchemist's apprentice, she was under close observation following the incident. I wasn't aware of that. So in the end, she didn't have access to the crime scene at all that day. Huh. By the way, what were you doing at that time? Huh? Me? Taking a nap, apparently. Also stealing, probably.
Hold it!
What were you having a look at? Oh, well, I was asked to take care of the crime scene, wasn't I? So I had to, like, make sure everything was in order. You know, it's not like I went wild with excitement after being left in a real alchemist room full of mysterious stuff. I'm sure you didn't, Mr. Sticky Fingers. And besides, she asked me to look for something, so I was doing that too. What were you looking for? Can't refuse a request from a lady, am I right? Amir's lesser-known, gentlemanly side had me surprised, if I may so confide. You're asking to look for something. What's that? This is news for me. What were you asked to look for? Enlighten us, witness. What was now? You know, I can't remember. Maybe if you didn't drink so much. Does it matter? In the end, whatever it was, I never found it. I remember that. Okay, I wonder if she can tell us what...
Hold it!
I think that she's just trying to distract us. And not going to be helpful, but we might as well give it a try.
Hang on!
Miss Grayrl, you look lost in thought. Oh, were you talking to me? Even she can be caught off guard if I choose the right moment. You have been listening to Mr. Amir's testimony, haven't you? Yes, I have. He was asked to look for something. It was you who asked him, I assume. What did you tell him to look for? I think you're mistaken. I don't remember making any request of that sort. Huh? Oi, Bluey! Were you even listening to what I said? It was a lady that asked me. The butler is a guy, you numbskull. We'll catch them all up, don't worry. Hey, what's up? Why is everyone looking at me like that? Quite a while ago we learned that the butler, Jean Grayrl, is actually female. What? That's why when you said a lady asked you to search for something, we assumed it was Miss Grayrl. What? Daydreaming, listening, but not hearing. That look of shock is almost endearing. Why didn't anyone tell me before? Do you require a personal notification? You should have been listening to the trial. Knights of the court squabbling with a witness is most unseemly. What I would like to know now is... I don't know why I changed his voice like that. What I would like to know now is this. Who was the lady that made the request of Amir? Yeah. That was, actually... Miss...
He's absolutely certainly talking about me.
Wait, you were there too?
Oh, and you are?
Oh man, I hate
Oh,
this.
I'm Letty. Hang on a minute. I'll get down there post-haste.
The puns. The witnesses are just continuing to stack.
But, Miss Letty, who are you precisely?
Me? Who am I? I'm Letty Mailer. I'm the courier.
The courier. The courier is a person who collects and delivers letters or packages. I know. Thanks anyway, Isabella. She'd stop this reading my mind. Hold on, Miss Mailer. Do you mean it was you who irresponsibly made such a request to that troublemaker? Me? Maybe. Yes, I guess so. I asked him to help me find something. Outrageous. Why was I not informed of this? I guess no one told you. Maybe because you didn't ask? It seems we will need to ask you to testify, Miss Mailer. Explain to us how you were involved in this case. Frankly, I wouldn't say involved in anything. Now I'm in a tight spot, but it's because that guy said something weird about me. He's up on me, lady. I like the saying goes. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. Beats being in a pickle all your own, eh? Miss Letty Mailer testify about that day. You're losing all of your letters every time you move. That voice could make windows shatter. His ears were ringing. That was fun. Belgic said he had a letter to send, so I came by to pick it up.
Hold it!
You mean you came to pick up a letter from Sir Belduke? Yes! I was told by Sir Belduke that I'd be ready in the morning. What's more, he said it was extremely important. I felt a sense of duty surging within me.
Hang on!
Miss Grail, I have a question. Yes, what is it? Did anything catch your attention during Miss Mailer's comments? Nothing in particular. At any rate, to begin with, I was not aware of the fact that the courier visited us that day. Ah, that's right. That's what I wanted. And once I found the letter, I left immediately. Do you know about this letter, witness? I have never prying to ask this person in matters such as this correspondence. I know about the letter. Well, that should conclude the testimony. So now we know there was a third witness. But Miss Mailer only came to pick up a letter. That doesn't help us much, does it? Well, perhaps there's more to it than meets the eye. A letter, huh? Belduke was about to send a letter to someone before he was killed. May not be relevant to this case, but something about that is bothering me. Maybe it's worth asking Letty about it. Okay. I either present.
Hold
Let's
it!
just continue my press first, because clearly that wasn't important to follow along with. And so you visited Sir Belduke's dwelling the morning after he was murdered. I got to start when I arrived. The door was smashed in and a man was walking around with an axe rummaging about. As for Sir Belduke, he was slumped in his chair. The butler was nowhere to be found. That route's gone too far, I thought. You can see why, right? Of course. Naturally. In your place, I'd thought so myself. That's mean. Anyway, I spoke with him and he told me what happened. So that's when I asked him to help me. I asked him to look for something. Yes, the letter. I asked him to search for the letter. But in the end, the guy passed out on the couch. I found the letter myself, then I delivered it. You actually delivered the letter? That's commitment, all right. About that letter. Who in the name of the noble author was it addressed to? It's funny you should mention him. That's exactly who it was addressed to. Oh, I can't tell you that. Sorry. Couriers can't disclose that sort of info. I can. I know who it is. Couriers have a confidentiality obligation. No one wants to have the addresses of their letters made public, after all. I have personally never sent a letter that would need to be kept secret from the public. That I would need to keep secret from the public. Don't look at me like that. I was talking about public opinion on the matter, not my own. That letter. Kind of rings a bell. Oh, okay. See, that's why you always press before you present. Just a hunch, it might not have anything to do with this case, but I need to make sure. I need to know more about Belduke's letter. Witness. Huh? Me? What's up? The letter Sir Belduke asked you to deliver on that day. Was it this?
Take
letter?
that!
The letter you found that morning? Was it by any chance this one here? Ah! Yes! That's the one! But wait, how'd you get it? You're a piece of work, all right.
Objection!
Hold it, Sir Blue Knight. How did you come by that letter? It just sort of fell into my lap, so to speak. It was the professor who found it, but he doesn't need to know that. Defenders, just what in the world are the contents of that letter? Well, the letter's blank. What? This fuss over a blank letter. As you can see, there's some sheets of parchment inside the envelope. Indeed, there's not a trace of ink on them. What's the meaning of this? Don't forget that Sir Belduke was an alchemist. He may have used some kind of invisible ink to write that letter. That's what I was thinking, Barnum. That may be the case, I think is what he said. I skipped ahead, sorry. About that, it doesn't make sense to me. What? Miss Mailer? The thing is, When I saw the letter, all the pages were full of writing. So, you know.
Objection!
Hold it, witness. You saw the contents of Sir Belduke's letter? I didn't read it. Just that, you see... Witness, this is an important matter. You will need to testify about it. What? Did it erase? Tell us what you know about this letter. This letter will now self-destruct. That night, probably 1 a.m., I made a delivery to Sir Belduke. You mean the time of the crime? He was writing a letter at the time. He'll be ready soon, so come pick it up tomorrow morning. That's what he said. I left his study and wished the butler a good night. Then I went home. I went there again the next morning, as promised. Sir Belduke was... Well, anyway, I looked for the letter. Then that guy went out like a light on the couch. I got a little scared, so I left as soon as I found the letter. Where did you find the letter? Oh, no, wait. We know where she found the letter. Because we have these pictures. And I said that the letter was right there. So she had to have walked through this stuff to get to it. I see. So you witnessed the victim write the letter. I wouldn't say witness. That sounds so legal. The sheets of parchment were on his desk, though. I saw that. And they were covered in writing. Margin to margin. But you don't know what the letter was about. Telling you would be a breach of our privacy policy. I can't reveal its contents or who it was addressed to. Of course, I understand. Frankly, I didn't get close enough. To Sir Belduke's desk, I mean, so I couldn't make out what he was writing. In any case, where did you find the letter the morning after the victim was found dead? On a shelf next to his desk, in a small letterbox. Ah, yes, right there, next to his head. I was a teeny little bit scared, though, coming so close to a dead man. So that's where she took the letter from. It was right next to the corpse, huh? Now that the circumstances are clear, we shall proceed to the cross-examination.
Hold it!
That's pretty late to be making a delivery. Look, he's an alchemist. He gets loads of strange packages. That's why. He'd often order various implements from the glass craftsman, or have someone gather wild herbs for him. He usually carried out his experiments at night, so yeah, he often needed items delivered in the middle of the night. Sir Belduke seemed all different than normal when you saw him that night. Different? Let me think. Actually, yes. I think it was about 3 days before. Before Sir Belduke's death, I mean. That lightning strike. Yeah, we learned about that. I'm gonna let her continue. Lightning strike, ah yes. The sky was clear and then there was a sudden flash of lightning. Out of nowhere, an old bell tower appeared in flames. Ah yes. It certainly was an unusual event. It all seems so calm about it. A tower suddenly materializing in the town is more than just an unusual event, right? A delivery for Sir Belduke that evening, too. He looked terrified that night, as if he was scared of something. What could he have been afraid of? Was it because of the lightning strike? I was wondering about it too, but, well, then the incident happened. Oh, she still has something to say. I guess he died before she could find out any more. I suggest we get back to discussing the night of the crime. Witness, you were to Sir Belduke's. Okay.
Hold it!
It lasted a while, so I'm gonna let it last a while.
Hang on!
Excuse me, Miss Grail. Oh, what is it? Did anything Miss Mailer's statement catch your attention? Well, just lightning strike. Master Belduke did certainly change following that event. I wonder why it affected him so much. An alchemist and a sudden appearance of an old bell tower. There was some sort of connection between them. Anyway, looks like Grayrol is as much dark about it as I am. By the way, the strange lightning strike was not the result of witchcraft. I see. Hold on, let's carry on. Really? It materialized a bell tower, but it wasn't witchcraft?
Hold it!
You saw the letter he was writing. I told you before, there were sheets of parchment with writing on them on his desk. I had a very quick look. There were so many sheets. The letters must have been very long. And how can you explain the letter being blank now? That's just it. That's what I'd like to know as well. I wish I had some earplugs. Sir Belduke, he was holding a pen when I arrived at the delivery. So, he was in the middle of writing. And also he told me to pick up the letter next morning. And then you left to study.
Hold it!
Wait a minute. When you say the butler, you mean... Miss Grayrol, of course. She was in the court carrying a tray. You know, actually I quite like the butler. Is it really true she's a girl? It's a bit disappointing. To me, at least. Oh, I'm sorry I was unable to meet your expectations. I'm not sure I want to know about her expectations. In any case, Miss Mailer did visit us that night. She came to deliver a package to Master Belduke. She delivered to Master personally. There were always many things to which I was not privy. Right, and I saw you that night when I was leaving. I almost walked into you. Yes, it's just as you say. I was about to wish Master Belduke a good night. Vera looks a lot more confident now. But she seemed shaken for a moment earlier. I wonder what that was about. Okay. It's good to skip sometimes. I didn't miss anything. I can always go back. It's fine, Phoenix. Don't panic. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything important. There we go.
Hang on!
Miss Grayrol, I'd like to ask you something. Oh, certainly. What is it? You stated previously that you excused yourself and left Sir Belduke's study shortly after 1 a.m. Yes, that is correct. However, according to Miss Mailer's testimony, the two of you came across each other while you were out waiting outside that room. Ooh, she looks nervous. Why didn't you mention that until now? That's because... I apologize. I'm afraid I completely forgot to mention it. You forgot? Miss Mailer very often comes to deliveries during the night. I did see her that night as well, but I didn't think much of it. It's nothing unusual. I had no reason to hide that from you. Please forgive me for the confusion. Well, kind of thing can happen. Your memory is in no way perfect. I don't imagine there's a problem here, is there? On the contrary, Your Honor. There's one more thing Miss Grayrol forgot to mention. What is it? I'd like you to recall that Miss Mailer said about having met Miss Grayrol that night. She was carrying a tray. Well, Miss Grayrol, apparently you were carrying a tray at the time. What do you have to say about that? Jean Grayrol, I believe you should add that to your testimony. As you wish, my lord. It's unlikely she really forgot about it. The fact that she tried to hide it must mean something. His usual drink.
Hold it!
What do you mean by his usual drink? When Master's experiments continued into late hours, he would always have some juice to ward off sleepiness. What kind of juice? Tomato juice.
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister. Mister. Oh, I know nothing about it. Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing about what, mister? Witness. What What have you done this time? Don't give me that scary look, Inquisitor Barnum. It was only just a little bit. Seriously, hardly anything at all. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, no, she definitely poisoned him. Knocked him out so that she could strangle him without a fight. And then he drank it, and that's why he got zonked out on the couch. That's why he fell asleep suddenly when he was digging around places, because he found a drink and then he slept. What are you talking about? What do you think I'm talking about? The juice, the tomato juice, of course. The tomato juice. Oh, you didn't. Surely even you wouldn't. Well, like I told you before, I think I sort of overdid it the previous night. When I woke up, my head was pounding. That's why I went to see the alchemist. But you know what happened? And when I was left alone in the alchemist's study, it kind of caught my eye. The bottle, I mean. Oh, it was tomato juice dribbling from his mouth. The tomato juice. I thought it might make the headache go away, you know? So you drank it. The juice found at the crime scene. But why shouldn't I? It's a drink, ain't it? What else do you do with a drink? You drink it, right? And can you tell us where that bottle is now? Come to think of it, I don't remember seeing it at the crime scene. It has been confiscated. Confiscated? As I mentioned previously, the occult crime analysts confiscated all of Master's personal belongings from the crime scene. Is that so? Well, I believe we should take a note of that bottle and add it to the court record. Yeah, so there I was, having a bit of juice, when the girl came round. To tell you the truth, I don't quite remember what happened after that. That's when he passed out, huh? That's when he passed out.
Hold it!
Took the letter from the room? Yes, I took it from the crime scene.
Objection!
Crime scene. Do you not realize that pinching evidence from a crime scene is in itself a crime worthy of severe punishment? Well, it might be a crime, sure, but just look at the witch's defender. He's got to defend a witch, using any dirty tricks at his disposal. Excuse me? Dirty tricks? What dirty tricks? That's the same for me, you know? I'm the courier, so come rain or shine, I gotta deliver. Where there's mail, there's mailer. I was so inspired by the young lady's spirit that I kind of just had to help. Although inspired by her dedication, he betrayed a lack of concentration. It's entirely my fault that it came to that. And I only been at the residence then. Dark. Grail was out notifying the knights at the time.
Hold it!
He went out like a light. He was helping me look for the letter, and then it happened. Out of the blue, just passed out. The rascal. He collapsed and his eyes rolled back. He wouldn't move. It almost sounds like he died. No such luck, unfortunately. That horrible sound. He was grating his teeth. I thought my ears would explode. Yeah, I'm not sure what came over me. Never happened to me before, sleeping like that. No, I didn't just fall asleep. More like I sort of blacked out, I guess. No idea why. What, you guys? What do you think? Any ideas? I think it bears no relevance in that you have my honest answer. And I think it was good that I wasn't there. But the question is, why did he black out like that? I've got evidence. Your Honor, I might have a clue as to why the witness suddenly lost consciousness. Do you? Really? You work it out, Bluey? If that's the case, may the defense present some evidence. Which piece of evidence shows why this man fell unconscious?
Take that!
Mister, I believe that the reason you might have lost consciousness at the crime scene was tied to a certain piece of evidence. But wasn't it just because, you know, I had a bit too much fun the night before? No, it was because of this. The tomato juice. You passed out right after drinking this juice. Therefore, it's not unreasonable to assume that there's a direct connection between the two. Tomato juice does not make people fall unconscious, Sir Blue Knight. It does if it's laced with something. Exactly, that's why something must have been added to the contents of the bottle. Something like... soporific? You mean sleep medicine? And if a soporific was mixed in with the tomato juice, that means Sir Belduke would have been unconscious at the time he was assailed. Oh! This sketch! Have another look. The red liquid trickling down from the victim's mouth is proof that Sir Belduke must have drank the tomato juice. I had failed to consider this. Inquisitor Barnum, I bet you remember saying this to the court. Can you imagine anyone just sitting back and letting themselves be strangled? Clearly there should be evidence of a struggle. And since we haven't found any, that must mean the killer erased all traces of a fight from the crime scene. However, if the victim was unconscious when his assailant was strangling him, then the killer could have committed the crime through a small portal, big enough to put their arms through after all.
Objection!
That may be so, but tell me this. How would the culprit have managed to obtain such a strong soporific? It's in the alchemist's office. What, is that a real question? It was very simple. I think you've realized why. For the alchemist. That's right. An alchemist would no doubt have a wide array of various medicaments in their possession. Am I saying that right? And an apprentice would have little trouble stealing some of them from their study. Isn't that right, Miss Graham? How should I respond to that? Is Earl Grey tea supposed to help with sleep? I'm sorry to disappoint you. May perhaps be the best way to put it. What do you mean? Even though that juice bottle has been safely stored for the past 3 months, I'm positive it would be impossible to find any traces of that soporific now. Wicked. This is unbelievable. Was it really the butler who did it? The butler did it! But everything she says holds true. She was pretending to be a boy. That's mighty suspicious to start with. Is she a witch? The ringing in the ears. Hold on, everyone. The butler couldn't have done that to Sir Belduke. She would never ever do it. Please, let us testify just one more time. Miss Grey Earl, let's tell them. Let's prove they're wrong. We have no idea how much you've done for Sir Belduke. Miss Mailer. Very well, I shall grant your request to testify about the real relationship between Miss Grey Earl and Sir Belduke. Master took me in, a complete stranger. I will forever be indebted to him. That's why I could never make an attempt on his life, through magic or otherwise. Sir Belduke was a wonderful man. He's the one who recommended this line of work for me. And he's the one who told me about it. The confidentiality obligation, I mean. I've never once broken it. Interesting that he would talk about the confidentiality. What kind of secrets was he trying to hide? It's true that Sir Belduke invoked fear due to his being an alchemist. However, he was also a man of admirable character who supported the townsfolk through his research. Why would anyone want to kill such a man? This question keeps haunting me, however much I think about it. Witches need no reason behind their evil. That's what makes them witches. But we learned in the last trial that being a witch is... It's not like they're not otherworldly creatures. They're just, oh, I have these powers. I want to live a normal life. Now the defense may begin its interrogation. Was there only 2 lines? I think there are only 2 lines to cross-examine. Alright. This is a short one then. Oh no, How long has it been since you began serving Sir Belduke? I suppose it would be 5 years now. Before that, I'd lost everything. I had nothing and nobody left in this world. 5 years. That's how long that Phoenix and Maya thought that they were here. You lost everything? That's when Master Belduke helped me. He kindly took me in and gave me work. What did she go through before she started working for Belduke? Later, when I was helping Master with his research, he even taught me how to read and write. I was able to live comfortably for so long, all because of Master. I don't know much about Grey Earl. But she doesn't seem the type to kill someone she owes so much to. Everyone in this town knows you served Sir Belduke. Now you may continue your testimony.
Hold it!
This is a stupid thing to press. You're claiming you had no reason to kill Sir Belduke. Yes, you can ask him whomever you wish, and I'm sure they will say the same. So, it's widely known that Jean Grey Earl was devoted to serving Sir Belduke. It's difficult to imagine that she could brutally murder her respected master. Indeed, the same opinion. I've visited Sir Belduke on several occasions to inquire about this piece of evidence, all that. And I must say, I felt there was a strong bond of trust between him and Miss Grey Earl. Do you still think you can come up with a motive? A motive. Jean Grey Earl's motive for murder. Earl risked a lot to conjure up a small portal in the wall. And then she killed Belduke, but what motive did she have? I'm gonna leave it for now. I think we've heard everything witnesses had to tell us. We won't get any more out of them. Spella, Sparrow wouldn't kill Sir Belduke. But he's dead, and when you think about who could have killed him... I was gonna learn some more from the mail carrier. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? The murder happened. Nothing's going to change that. Was murder really the culprit's primary objective? What are you thinking about, Mr. Wright? I think I may need to consider some other possibilities, after all. Rather than try to get any more info, maybe I'll be better off changing my perspective. Well, I've been thinking, maybe we've been making the wrong assumptions. If Grey Earl's aim wasn't to get Belduke out of the picture. I wanted to know about the confidentiality obligation at the very least. I'm gonna keep going. Clearly he wants me to press and go, but I wanna... I mean, you became a courier because of Sir Belduke. That's right! I was also, what do you call it, an orphan. I've been stealing bread and apples and such from stalls and shops to survive. I was known far and wide among the traders in the shopping area. I was famous, or rather infamous. She's stealing from Mrs. Eclair, too. And one day, Miss Grey Earl took me there. To Sir Belduke's residence, I mean. Sir Belduke helped me. He helped me to find a suitable job. So you became a courier. Yes. See, I only had one real skill. I'm light-footed. At first I didn't take it seriously. The job, I mean. I didn't care about work. Then I realized it's not so bad to be useful, you know, to other people. So I owe him a lot too, you see. Sir Belduke, I mean. What hard for me, sir. I think the judge just wiped away a tear with the rim of his hood. The more you hear about Sir Belduke, the more obvious it will become that no one had any reason to want to kill him. Sure does seem that way.
Hold it!
The confidentiality obligation is a rule held among couriers, is that right? Yes, a courier must not disclose the contents of a letter, nor the names nor addresses of the sender and recipient. But I'll tell you confidently that I love gossiping. Bad-mouthing people, especially. So I wasn't confident I could keep it. The confidentiality obligation, I mean. I was tempted to talk about this and that. To think that Belduke trusted her. But then Sir Belduke spoke to me. He told me this. Think about how you'd feel in that person's place. And that got me thinking. I really, really like to gossip, but when it comes to being gossiped about, people's messages are their secrets, and secrets must be kept. Indeed, those would want their letters to be publicly known. She's certainly determined when it comes to confidentiality. That's why she doesn't want to disclose the addressee of Belduke's letter. I'm not going to get it is Sir Belduke, and I'm going to keep it, no matter what. The promise, I mean. It's something I can pride myself on, right? Okay. End of the road for testimony. Everyone knows that Miss Grey Earl respected Sir Belduke. That's why it seems so inconceivable that she could be the killer. She doesn't have any motive. That's a crime that did take place. At this point, let's look at the case from a different angle. Follow the truth through. That's an attorney's duty. I'm sure you can do it, Mr. Wright. Okay. So.
Hold it!
This is it. This is what I'm pressing. Different angle. I understand the defense will present evidence. What? I will present evidence. I'm not ready to present evidence. Evidence about Jean Grey Earl's motive for murder? No. Wait, what? What's this about, Sir Blue Knight? Sir Belduke's life was taken that day. It's a fact. However, is this actually the culprit's true objective?
Objection!
What? This is nonsense. Sir Belduke was murdered. What other possible reason could there be besides someone wanting him dead? I'm fairly positive this piece of evidence will lead us to the culprit's real motive. Is it the letter? Did she want to know about the letter? I'm not ready for this. Very well, defense. Present evidence to indicate Jean Grey Earl's motive for committing the crime. Also, I'm not a fan of the fact that the music is still playing.
Take that!
Miss Grey Earl had no reason for wanting to kill Sir Belduke. However, there was another incident that night, which is related to this case. And I have an idea what it was. Another incident? I'm referring to this letter. Sir Belduke wrote a letter shortly before his death, yet all we have here are some blank sheets of parchment. Fascinating. Are you saying maybe a witch used some kind of ink-removing magic on that letter, Mr. Wright? No, the spell used by the witch was, of course, Godor. Let's go over the state of the crime scene one more time. As we know from Miss Mailer's testimony, the letter was in the letterbox next to the victim's head. Ah, yes, it's in the sketch as well. The letterbox is on the far side of the shelf. Oh, but it's close to the green. The point of note is the location of that letterbox. Unbelievable. As Inquisitor Barnum seems to have noticed, the letterbox is within reach of the small portal conjured by the witch, behind the painting on the wall. Oh, indeed it is! And as Sir Belduke's butler, you would have known exactly where he keeps his letters. Indeed, Master Belduke would always keep his letters in that letterbox before posting them. You mentioned no such thing. Miss Grey Earl, you created a portal with Godor, not with the intention of killing Sir Belduke. You were after the letter, weren't you? That's merely wild conjecture. I didn't even know about that letter at the time. You didn't? That's very strange. When Miss Mailer came by that night, Sir Belduke was busy writing that letter. And that's when you entered, carrying a bottle of tomato juice. There's no way you wouldn't have known that your master was writing a letter to someone. And you could have known even more than that. For instance, perhaps you knew what he was writing about. It's enough! I served Master Belduke as his butler. I never would have pried into his private affairs. Whatever it was he wrote about in his final letter to the storyteller. I think you just said way too much there. It's no concern of mine. Your Honor. Yes, defense. I'd like Miss Grayrell's last statement to be added to her testimony. Any objections, Inquisitor Barnum? No, my lord. Very well, witness, include what you just told us in your testimony. As you wish, my lord. And no reason to take his life, nor steal his letter to the storyteller. Hey, how'd you know it was to the storyteller?
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. You didn't know anything about the victim's letter. That's right. I believe I've said as much already. Then how did you know? How did you know it was addressed to the storyteller? Ah, indeed. Why don't you answer his question, witness? It's true this letter is addressed to the storyteller. But when did you find out about it? I've spoken about the murder with many people over the past 3 months.
Hang on!
Excuse me, Miss Mailer? Sir Screech that caught me out. Is there something you'd like to add? No, not really. In that case, let me ask you a different question. Did you tell Miss Grayrell about Sir Belduke's letter? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Confidentiality! Do not beat about the bush, witness. Answer the question. If I may briefly interrupt. I'm testifying right now. If you wish to question Miss Mailer, please do so once you've finished interrogating me. She's not going to let me question Mailer from the looks of it. She's so keen to prevent her from answering. This might just be a critical point in the testimony. Find another way of fishing out that information. Okay. So...
Hold it!
let's press and pretend that she didn't say anything. Everyone's been so kind to me, they have also told me all sorts of things. Must have heard about it from someone at some point. Well, there's certainly much talked about. I should not agree defense. Does your testimony hold together? There's a huge contradiction in Miss Grayrell's testimony. Becoming very predictable, Sir Blue Knight. It's a contradiction with what the witness is saying. It's the testimony contradiction. If there's a contradiction, I hope you have the evidence to prove it. It's my chance. There's only one way to expose the contradiction. You can't present evidence. The defense has no intention of presenting evidence. What? The proof that there's a contradiction cannot be found in the court record. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? The professor pointed it out to me in the previous witch trial. In this court, an attorney's arsenal isn't limited to the court record. Each of the witnesses... should the testimony differ, here's a contradiction. Juxtaposing contradictory testimonies from different witnesses is the key. Miss Grayrell? Your testimony contradicts another one that we've heard in this court today.
Objection!
It was a single word that gave you away, Miss Grey Earl. What do you mean by that? The name of the recipient. There were only a few people who knew the intended recipient of that letter. 4 people, to be precise. Only 4 people. First was Sir Belduke, the author of the letter. There was Miss Mailer, who delivered it, and of course the storyteller, its recipient, as well as one more person. The one who stole the letter, using a portal spell and swapped it with blank sheets of parchment. The witch. Maybe I did. Maybe I spilled the beans. About the letter, I mean. Maybe I told the butler. Did what? Oh, well, because, you see, me and the butler are sort of friends. And it was about our dear Sir Belduke. I felt like I might have told her about the letter after all. See, if I did, that's how she knew. About the recipient, I mean.
Objection!
I understand that you are friends with Miss Grey Earl and you want to help her out. But I've got a piece of advice, Miss Mailer. You shouldn't lie, even for a friend. Huh? Remember your testimony. You told us about the courier's duty to keep the details of the letters confidential. You have also testified that you have never broken that obligation. Remember?
Objection!
But hold on just a minute. As the victim's butler, Jean Grey Earl might have had a chance to catch a glimpse of the envelope.
Objection!
No, she didn't. When Miss Mailer came in with the delivery, Sir Belduke was still writing that letter. In fact, he was in the middle of it. At that time, the letter had not yet been addressed. And the next morning, when the body was discovered, the letter was already in the letterbox. Keep in mind that Miss Grey Earl would have had no opportunity to see it then either. Is that so? She went to report the crime without even setting foot in his study. And then Miss Mailer appeared and retrieved the letter. Needless to say, Miss Grey Earl couldn't have learned of the letter's recipient afterwards. Or maybe you have a good explanation, Miss Grey Earl? I'd very much like to hear one. Can you please tell the court how you found out the recipient's name? Mr. Wright. Yeah? Do you remember what I said when I was called to the witness stand? Yes. At the heart of alchemy lies the pursuit of the rules and logic that govern nature. You have demonstrated the power of your own logic. Miss Grey Earl? Are you saying? Yes, I confess. The abhorrent witch who used that spell Godor to swap the contents of that letter, and who took the life of Master Belduke. It was none other than I. I was an only child born to a poor family. I've been a witch since I was very little. When did I become aware of it? I don't remember. Although I was but a young child, I knew that being a witch was a crime. That's why I hid my witch's scepter and wouldn't use magic at all. My father worked as a bricklayer. He toiled every day, but we could hardly make ends meet. One winter day, we couldn't afford to pay the rent. We're going to lose the house. My mother was in tears and my father was sitting with his head down, wordless.
I want money for Mummy and Daddy.
That day I suddenly remembered about the witch's scepter that I had hidden. The Goldor spell. I thought I'd try it just once, casting the spell. But at the time I had no idea what irreversible mistake that would be. Even though no one told me, I knew from the very beginning what magic I was able to use. What should I turn into gold? I was thinking about it. Oh, what should I turn into gold? I was thinking about it really hard, the little girl that I was. Something that wouldn't stand out. That could be taken for a work of art. I'm feeling that goat is what it was. Then I decided I chose a pretty leaf that had fallen into our garden. But it wasn't the right thing to do after all. I was terribly punished for using magic even just the once. Punished? In what way were you punished? I placed the leaf down in the back garden and cast the spell. But then Margaret suddenly walked in front of me. Margaret? My closest childhood friend. Margaret, right before my eyes, she was turned into gold. Oh, dear me. I screamed and cried, but I knew I couldn't ask anyone for help. If anyone had seen it, they would have known it was the work of magic. But I knew Margaret wasn't coming back. That's terrible. Then my mother and father's faces flashed before my eyes. We may have been very poor, but we were always happy together. Had I been captured as a witch, I feared my parents probably wouldn't be safe either. That thought tormented me more than anything, and so I made the decision. I decided to end my own life. I threw myself into the river near the town. It was winter and water was cold as ice. I couldn't even move, it was painful. My consciousness started drifting away. The next thing I knew, I was in Master Belduke's residence. He risked his own life jumping into that freezing river to save me. I burst into tears and told him everything. I didn't want to go back home. I would only end up causing my parents grief. Master Belduke listened to me without interrupting, and then he told me this.
You can stay here, but from now on, you must live as a boy.
Master Belduke met with my parents and explained everything to them. They were very sad, but they agreed it would be best if I didn't return home. Poor Miss Grail. That must have been so awful for her. Master bought the house for my parents, so they wouldn't have to worry about paying rent anymore. As for Margaret, who turned into gold, he brought her to his residence. Yeah, the Golden Girl. He knew that if anyone saw her, they would report an incident of witchcraft. And this Miss Margaret, is she still in that golden state? Yes, she is. That's strange. We have received no reports of anyone by that name having gone missing. Margaret is being kept in the basement under Master's study. The basement? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this Margaret, is she a... Yes, my dear friend. It was a goat that we were keeping at our house. A goat? Until then, Master Belduke had mainly been researching medicine. But since the incident with Margaret, he became known as an alchemist. So that's when he became an alchemist. I was wondering why the goat was their only thing not covered in dust. That's how I started a new life as Master Belduke's butler. Sir Belduke would sometimes work as a physician, curing the townspeople of their illnesses. As his assistant, you have also shown commitment to helping the townspeople through your work. I forgot about being a witch and was able to live happily at peace with everyone. I thought I could stay like that forever. But those peaceful days came to an abrupt end. Tell us, what in the world was the cause? Even I'm not quite sure what led to this. However, it all started 3 months ago, with that lightning strike. Master Belduke and I were on our way back home, carrying specimens for our experiments. An old bell tower appeared in flames. Everyone who saw it was stupefied. The expression on Master Belduke's face was unlike anything I'd seen before. What do you mean? His face went pale and twisted in sheer terror. He was shaking violently. It wasn't just astonishment at an unusual phenomenon. It seemed as if he was afraid of something more concrete. Perhaps Sir Belduke saw something that others couldn't. He cancelled his experiments for that night and began writing a letter to someone. Letter? I found out about it when I brought him his bottle of tomato juice. He was writing feverishly as if he were possessed. I saw some things. A few words in that letter. Expose everything. Cannot keep the secret any longer. The truth about the witch. Master Belduke was going to confess that I was a witch. Everything went black in front of my eyes. I will never forget the feeling that overwhelmed me at that moment. Is that when you decided to commit the crime? What I did first was accidentally singe a part of the wall in my room. It was an excuse to repaint that section of the wall green. And you also painted the wall behind that painting in Sir Belduke's study. And when that fateful night came, I used a syringe to inject a soporific through the cork and into the bottle of tomato juice. So many thoughts were running through my head as I wished Master a good night. I opened the portal behind him. He was right there in front of me, asleep. I reached for the letter in the letterbox, taking care not to wake him. And I happened to notice the name on the envelope. Storyteller. When I read that name, the world all around me turned black once more. It's impossible to avoid what is written by the storyteller. It seemed as if I could hear the doors to all escape routes shut and closed. It was the sound of despair. I would like you to believe me that the thought of taking Master Belduke's life never once occurred to me. I only planned to steal that letter and then disappear. As I looked upon Master sleeping there in front of me, at that moment I felt an evil presence awake within me. Why did he save my life? And why did he betray me? Before I realized what I was doing, my hands were clutching his neck. He didn't move at all, so I kept on clenching his neck. That's it. That's the truth about what happened 3 months ago. There's just one thing I failed to understand. Yes. You said you wanted to run away once you had stolen the letter. Yet despite that, you continued to live in Sir Belduke's residence. And now here you stand. Why did you not run away? My life had been thrown into disarray due to the absurdity of magic. I had learned all about alchemy living at the Master's residence. Alchemy is concerned with the logic that governs the world. I wanted to believe that there truly was such a thing. So I stayed in that place, hoping to one day see the irrational nature of magic overcome by the power of reason. Magic being overcome by reason. That night, I swapped the letter with blank sheets of parchment and waited for the sun to rise. I resolved to wait for the day when my true identity could be exposed through reason and logic. Master's death remained a mystery. For 3 months, my people started to lose interest. And then you appeared, Mr. Wright. visited the residence. I was listening to your conversation from the other room. As the time finally come for me, my heart was racing with anticipation. Then, a few minutes after everyone entered that room, an unbelievable incident took place. Not incident. A witch appeared in Master's study. Wait, what? What? I wanted to get a look at the witch, so I created a portal on the wall, behind the painting. Precisely at that moment. Goldor. The witch used one of the very spells that I can use too. When I heard those words, a single thought flashed through my mind. This was my chance. I could dispose of my witch's scepter. I knew at the time what kind of witch the Inquisition would be looking for. A witch that can use Finalia and Goldor. It occurred to me that maybe I needed to change one of the magic gems. I had previously found out that the Finalia gem was purple. I realized that if I swapped the Goldor magic gem for my amethyst, I could pin the blame for my crime on that of the witch. So you changed one of the gems, threw the witch's scepter into that room. Is that correct? Exactly.
Objection!
So she's not the witch that cast the spell, Layton. Wait a minute, Jean Grey. This statement of yours is highly problematic. How so, Inquisitor Barnum? Yes, you are right. Can someone explain to me what this is about? I am a witch indeed. A sinful creature that killed the person to whom she owed her life. However, regarding the gentleman standing next to you, Mr. Wright, you may have fallen victim to a witch, but that witch was not me. Oh. Wait, what? Shoot, is Maya still gonna be in trouble and on trial? Order in the court. What's the meaning of this? Jean Grey admits killing Sir Belduke, not turning Sir Layton into gold. That is the gist of it. But lying about it is meaningless. Lying? Just being a witch is a crime in itself. And the punishment for that crime is the same regardless of whether she took one person's life or two. That's why there's no point in lying about it. I'm sure that's what the judge is thinking. Grey Earl is still claiming she never laid a finger on the professor. But if there's no point in lying, then she must be telling us the truth. So in that case, who's responsible for what happened to the professor? If it wasn't her, then who was it? Well, it wasn't Maya. Mind if I say something? Take a hint, witness. Does it feel like this is the right moment for you to talk? Yeah, well, that's kind of why I was staying quiet until now. But I either say it now or never. Don't simply fall silent after saying that. It only makes it weigh on my mind more. Whatever did you want to say? Oi, Bluey. Yes? I need to make sure about something. Me head's not what it used to be, you know. Yes? The alchemist butler, Lady Butler, she slipped sleep medicine into his drink. That's correct. She laced his tomato juice with it. And then she strangled the alchemist afterwards. Yes, Sir Belduke was unconscious from the sleep medicine, so he didn't resist. And that explains why we found no signs of a struggle at the crime scene. Yeah, about that. I listed earlier about when I did the crime scene, right? I told you that I had a few sips of that juice. And the sleep medicine mixed in made you sleep like a log. Yes, we remember. Yeah, well, here's the thing. This is just between us, okay? You see, when I appropriated that juice, the juice bottle was, well, still unopened. What? It was unopened? Haha, Mithril was parched, and I wasn't thinking straight. That brand new bottle was just there, waiting for me. with corkscrew conveniently laid next to it. I couldn't just let that go to waste. I swiftly pulled out the cork and got to drinking. What? So, in case you don't get what I'm getting at, the alchemist didn't have a single drop of the juice with the sleep medicine. Huh? What? But, huh? Witness, you went to the trouble of opening a bottle found at the crime scene just to drink its suspicious contents? That's what I've been telling you. I was dying of thirst. That doesn't justify what you've done.
Objection!
The Inquisition shall deal with this witness after the trial. He'll find out what it means to be dying of thirst in a more literal meaning. However, let us not waste any more time with him now. The witch has confessed to her crimes. There's no need to investigate Sir Belduke's death any further. Indeed, you are right, Inquisitor. Is he dead before she strangled him? Is that blood dripping down his mouth after all? Her role in the Sir Layton incident is not entirely clear, but a person who kills a protector to whom she owes her very life can be nothing other than a witch. The court has sufficient grounds to sentence her as such. Belduke didn't drink the juice that night. If that's true, there's one thing here that doesn't add up. Mr. Wright, I have to say, there's something about this that's bothering me. I'm sure there's a contradiction lurking in the man's testimony. You think so, Luke? Did I really turn a blind eye to this? No, there's something very wrong here. Mister, you're saying that you opened the tomato juice bottle. But that claim contradicts a certain piece of evidence. What? Defense, I'd like a word with you. Yes, Your Honor. At this point, your client's innocence has already been established. Therefore, whether there's a contradiction in that man's testimony or not should we no longer be of any of your concern. Maybe so, Your Honor, but even though I'm here to defend the accused, the true duty of any attorney is to uncover the truth behind what happened. My job is not done until there are no more contradictions left. Very well. So, Blue Knights, let us hear about this contradiction you've discovered. The bottle was first opened by that guy, meaning Belduke didn't drink any of it. That means there's one piece of evidence that should be very difficult to explain. The bloody trickle down his mouth. I'd like to hear about this contradiction too. The defense shall present evidence. There's the contradiction of this witness having been the one who opened the tomato juice bottle.
Take that!
The contradiction can be seen in one of these photos. I love how I predicted what was going to be said. There's no photographs in this world. Let me try that again. The contradiction can be seen in one of the sketches of the crime scene. In one of the sketches? Please take a look at Sir Belduke's mouth. We can see a line of red liquid trickling down from his mouth. Yes, well, we've already established that it was the tomato. Exactly, Your Honor. Sir Belduke didn't drink any of the tomato juice that night.
Objection!
Which means there's only one other possibility. That red line is, as we thought first of all, blood. Sir Belduke must have tried to fight back the assailant and bit his tongue in doing so.
Objection!
Unfortunately, that would only bring us back to the problem we encountered earlier. If the victim had put up a fight, then there should be traces of a struggle at the crime scene, and yet no such traces were found. That's what made you assume the witch must have used Famalia. Yes, that is so. As I explained before, Master Belduke didn't struggle at all at the time. When I think about it now, in light of the new information, it is very unnatural. The victim didn't drink the soap perfect, yet didn't struggle. What does this mean? It's was not tomato juice nor blood brought about through a struggle with a murderer, then what else could it be? Since it's not tomato juice, we have to assume it's blood, after all. Yeah, right. It's gotta be that. We've ruled out the possibility that the victim bit his tongue while struggling with the attacker. Indeed. Then there's got to be a different reason for that blood being there. He must have suffered internal bleeding that was somehow connected to his death. What could have caused it? Your Honor? If I may ask one question. A question to whom? If you just clarify this one suspicion, I may be able to explain the blood shown in the sketch. That's why I need to question one person in particular. Okay. Would Grey Earl know the bottles of things? Oh no, Barnum. Barnum knows all the bottles that have been taken. I need to question Barnum, because he's the Inquisitors that have taken things. Well, I'd like to ask Inquisitor Barnum. Me? Do you have any idea who I should question? That's not what I was going to ask about the bottles that were found, as if he was poisoned by something. Come on, man. I knew you'd get mad. It's about the incident, and it would make sense to ask one of the witnesses, do you not think? He may have yelled at you, but at least he answered your question, Mr. Wright. Yeah, Mr. Wright. You know, maybe that's a human heart beating under all that armor after all. Okay. Amir was snooping around, so... Amir was snooping around, but Grey Earl would know the bottles. It's always Amir. Mister, can I ask you something? Don't give me that scary look, Bluey. I know nothing at all. I don't have nothing to tell. Amir is as innocent as a little lamb, but is confident more than a sham. You'd be better off without that guard. You drank the tomato juice that was at the crime scene, right? Don't keep asking me about that over and over again. So what if I did? Then I have another question for you. Did anything else disappear from the crime scene that day? Nah, I didn't notice anything.
Objection!
Witness, just what have you done this time? You look like a dog caught making a mess on the carpet. Why are you looking at me like that? I don't know about anything going on. I'm innocent. Please believe me. Truth could drown in his swimming eyes. Some tell lies, while others cannot tell lies. Looks like my gut feeling was right. He took something from the crime scene. Yep. I've been thinking that the entire time. I just didn't want to question him because I was like, oh, the Knights would know what was taken. Yeah, no, he took something before the Knights did. Something that could be directly connected to that red liquid around Belduke's mouth. What on earth did that man steal from the crime scene? A certain item disappeared from the crime scene that day. And at this very moment, it's highly likely that item is right in front of our very eyes. The skull and crossbones bottle. Well, it's here? Isn't that right, mister? Is it? I've no idea. Defender, I want you to show us what this item is. The item that this witness took from the crime scene. Yeah. We've been wondering about that forever. It's this bottle. The bottle? Miss Grey Earl, I'd like you to clarify something for me. What would that be, Mr. Wright? Sir Belduke was working on creating certain medicines. He had various dangerous substances in his possession as well. How were they stored? Master kept them in a locked medicine cabinet. The bottles were labeled so that it was clear that they were dangerous. They have all been confiscated. As for those labels, did they resemble the label on that guy's bottle? Mister, what are you doing with the product of Master's research? It's not what you think. I didn't have any evil intentions or nothing. The bottle belonged to Master, and it was used to store strong poison. Poison strong enough to kill. Poison? What? The red liquid trickling down Sir Belduke's mouth was definitely blood. Now, as for what caused him to bleed like that from his mouth, it was the deadly poison from the bottle this guy stole from the crime scene. This is outrageous. What? Order! Whoa, did you expect me to just keep quiet? It was poison? Poison? Am I gonna die?
Objection!
Just wait and see. Time will tell. Yeah, I guess. More importantly, I want to know why you have that bottle. Well, that's, remember how I told you I drank the alchemist tomato juice? Indeed. It's also easy to forget, especially having heard it several times. Well, that was when I saw it on the floor. This bottle right here. So the powder? It was totally empty. I thought, you know, it was such a fancy looking bottle, no? I'm a bit of a skull fancier. They have this air of danger about them, right? They certainly do. So since it was there and I was right there too, I felt we were kind of meant for each other. I think that powder on the floor is... it's poison. I thought this bottle's so classy, I could die for it. Had any poison been left in the bottle, we would have died instantly. But if it was empty, it was probably harmless. Oh, hear that? I'm gonna live. Good thing I rinsed it well before use. Ugh. This guy. But if the victim was killed by poison, that raises a new question, of course. Who could have poisoned him? Considering all the evidence and testimonies we've heard so today, the answer is so close I can taste it. Sir Belduke was poisoned by... it was, of course, Sir Belduke himself. Sir Belduke himself. Sir Belduke took that poison of his own will. His death was suicide.
Objection!
That is preposterous. Suicide? Inconceivable.
Objection!
Think about it, Inquisitor. That would explain the most unnatural aspect of his death. The most unnatural aspect. Miss Grayer, when you were strangling Sir Belduke, you put up no fight whatsoever. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Until today, I was convinced it was due to the sleep medicine. He was already dead. It wasn't because he didn't take any. The truth is, when you gripped his throat, Sir Belduke was already dead. He had poisoned himself. But would the poison have caused him to bleed from his mouth? Personally, I know no poison that works instantly and causes such symptoms. Oh, you don't? You can just tell them that it happens on TV all the time. There are certain plants in this area that contain a highly poisonous substance. In the course of his research, Master Belduke found a way to extract that poison. What am I hearing? Is there really such a dangerous plant in Labyrinthia? The poison is very bitter to taste, so it would be impossible to secretly slip it into someone's food or drink. It would cause internal damage. It's a very powerful poison. Drinking it would induce a most painful death. To think Sir Belduke could... But did Sir Belduke really choose such an agonizing death for himself? It doesn't seem like he suffered that much. I'd like to know that too. Miss Grayer, maybe mean to say Master killed himself after exposing me as a witch. I cannot believe it. He just went and committed suicide. Indeed, we cannot take such theory at all at face value. Had he committed suicide, I dare say he would have left a suicide note. Is the letter a suicide note? I can't say why Sir Belduke committed suicide. I think there's a piece of evidence that can confirm suicide was a possibility. There's a piece of evidence like that? If you have such evidence, you ought to present it to the court immediately. Present the evidence indicating that Sir Belduke's death could have been suicide.
Take that!
It's Sir Belduke's letter. Let's see, it was addressed to the storyteller, wasn't it? This is the last letter written by Sir Belduke. Now, if his death was a suicide, then this letter may well be a suicide note.
Objection!
What we have here is nothing more than blank sheets of parchment. Whether or not there was a suicide note is something we can only speculate about. That's right. But there is one person who knows whether this letter is really a suicide note. You mean, the person who swapped its contents. In other words, you, Jean Greyo. Yes, you stole Sir Belduke's letter on the night of the crime. Tell us, what was written in it? I don't know. You don't know? I did steal the letter, yes. But I don't know what its contents were. You mean you have not read it? I couldn't bring myself to read it. It seemed that if I did, everything that had happened since Master Belduke saved my life would be ruined in an instant. I've taken it out and held it in my hands many times, but no matter what, I just couldn't. Miss Greyo. Can you tell us where that letter is now? Please tell me you didn't burn it or something. Oh, thank goodness. I have it here. Oh. You're carrying it around with you? If you were searched, you would have been done for. That night, having killed Master Belduke, I decided to stay in his residence. I knew my identity would be revealed sooner or later, and I was ready for it. So, until that time, I decided to always keep the letter with me. My lord, yes, witness. If you don't mind, could you please read it aloud? Now that I'm here, in this place of judgment, I think I'm finally ready to hear it, Master Wright.
Hold it! Miss Greyo, I think you should be the one to read it.
Me?
Sir Belduke wrote this letter to the storyteller as he was preparing to die. I think it's only right his last words should be read by you.
Yes, you're right. I see. I understand. Please allow me to read the letter aloud.
Okay, here goes.
My dear friend, I hope you will be able to forgive me for leaving this world of my own will. I have finally made this decision, having seen that accursed bell tower
appear in the flames on that dreadful night. That lightning was a sign that we have angered the gods. What I have done cannot be forgiven. I can never escape from it. For the past few days, I have been thinking that it might be best to simply expose everything. This town's secret, the truth about the witch. Of course, I understand that secrets need to be kept. However, I have grown very tired. I'm afraid I cannot keep the secret any longer. I have only two concerns. The first is my daughter. It pains me to be leaving her alone in this world, although she probably doesn't think of me as her father.
A daughter?
Interesting. Unless he's talking about Grey Earl.
I was not aware that Sir Belduke had a daughter.
Mr. Belduke seemed to know a lot about this town. This town's secret, and the truth about the witch.
Truth about the witch? Somehow I don't think he was talking about Miss Grey Earl.
Oh. The second matter, weighing heavily on my mind, is that Jean will be left on her own.
Seeing her growing up, so strong and righteous, in defiance of her fate, had given me hope. A short while ago, she brought me my usual, and what will be my last, drink. There are so many things I wanted to tell her, but I could only manage a thank you. She is a very sharp child. Had I said any more, she would have caught on. You could call me a selfish man, but I didn't wish my last memory of her to be a sad one.
Master Belduke. If the fate handed to her by this town has made her life an ordeal until now, I hope from the bottom of my heart that a wonderful story awaits her next. I intend to leave my residence to her, and I would like you to look out for her.
Alas, it is time for me to put my pen down, my dear friend. What I truly wish to express to you is too complicated for words. I hope one day you will understand, but for now I bid you farewell. The time has come for me to go.
This letter, it wasn't a denunciation of me being a witch.
Master Belduke cared about you until the very end.
Yes, how could I have forgotten? I'm sure I knew it all along. So why did I? How could I have done that to him?
Hold on, I'm getting emotional over here. Miss Grey Earl. My lord. What is it, Inquisitor Barnum? I think it is about time for the guilty verdict. Guilty? The Inquisition withdraws charges against Maya Fey and charges Jean Grey Earl of being a witch. The evidence corroborates this accusation, and she even admits her guilt. Hence, the Inquisition asks that the witch be found guilty and punished immediately. Oh gosh.
Objection!
Not so fast, Inquisitor Barnum. What do you want now, Sir Blue Knight? Admittedly, Miss Grey Earl did attempt to strangle Sir Belduke, but he had consumed a deadly poison and was already dead at the time. Therefore, she is not guilty of murder. Is there such crime as murder after the fact? And one more thing. It also wasn't Miss Grey Earl who turned Professor Layton into gold. There was another witch present at the crime scene. The defendant, Maya, saw her too. To put it simply, Miss Grey Earl didn't kill anyone. Yeah, she didn't kill anyone. And yet, you still want to burn her? Maya, do you even know how it feels to be put in this cage? It's like everyone's against you, and it's super frightening. I'm not a witch. But I've been thrown into this cage and almost sentenced for something I didn't do. And now you're about to do the same to another person? It's just not right. Is that all you have to say? Huh? The one who's in the wrong is not me, but you, Sir Blue Knight. Whether the witch committed a crime or not is completely irrelevant. This is the witch's court. All witches must be punished by fire. But that's crazy. Why, Barney? Mr. Barnum is absolutely right. Being a witch is a crime. You understand that, don't you, Miss Greer? Yes. Very well. The court is ready to issue the final verdict. Maya Fey is found innocent, and in her place, Jean Greer is found guilty of being a witch and shall be cast into the fire.
No! You can't!
Hold it! Please, hold the verdict!
Espella?
What is it now, Espella Cantabella?
There is nothing else we can do. This is the course of things, and you should know it well.
Indeed, all witches shall be cast into the flames. That is the law of this town. A law that was written by your very own father. And furthermore, a law that has always been obeyed in the town of Labyrinthia.
A town like this should never exist in the first place.
What? Such insolence!
That's heresy! She's criticizing the storyteller's story! Even the storyteller's daughter has no right to criticize the story!
Trials in which innocent people are sentenced to death by fire. I shall make sure this is the last one.
What do you mean, Espella?
Since you're all so keen on the rules created by the storyteller, you should know exactly what I mean.
What are you saying, Espella?
The stipulation for ending the witch trials. Once the Great Witch Bazella is burned, the witch trials will end.
Yeah?
At present, I am under suspicion. You know very well why that is, don't you?
You? Well, you don't mean that you're,
I am guilty.
Espella, what are you doing?
I am the Great Witch Bazella.
What?
Now, cast me into the flames and let Miss Grail free. Miss Cantabella. This shall be the last of the witch trials. No one else need be burned hereafter.
Espella, just what are you saying? I can't let you do that.
Please, Mr. Wright, let me do as I wish. I'm sorry, but this is a problem concerning the people of Labyrinthia.
No! Please don't do it!
There must be another way! You don't need to do this! It's all right. Luke, Maya, Mr. Wright, and Mr. Layton. I truly appreciate all you have done for me.
This can't be happening.
Miss Cantabella. Your confession will have very serious, or rather, fatal consequences for you. May we assume that you fully understand those consequences and are willing to accept them?
I am Espella Cantabella, the storyteller's daughter. But I also have another name. I am the Great Witch Bazella. I have lived hidden in the dark pages of my father's story, deceiving all of you. Many lives have been sacrificed because of me. But that shall end today.
Court Court attendants, seize that woman. She is the great witch, Bazella.
Oh boy.
Espella.
Maya, what are you doing?
Maya!
Espella, this just isn't right. Let's go. Nick, give me a hand. Jump over there. But hurry!
They're getting away!
Maya just locked herself back in there.
Maya!
Help me, Nick! Espella! Quick, in here!
Where did that little trapdoor come from? Wait.
Stop! You've got to stop! Maya!
That didn't accomplish anything. Wait. What? She. Hey, I had all of my credibility that time. Yay, Pickerots. I'm not happy with the results of this. Well, next time we'll see the aftermath of what just happened there. Wow. Two people down of our 4 main characters. 2 to go. Are they all just gonna end up dead by the end of this game? Oh boy. Espella was gonna take the fall for all the witch, like her being cast in the fire, you know, sacrificing herself for the sake of everyone in the witch trials and stuff. Very noble, you know. Awful, yes. Yes, for saving and stuff, but Maya, why did Maya get brought down anyway? And who was in charge of that? To close her up and bring her down? Because they knew that Espella wasn't there anymore, right? Right. Oh boy. I guess we'll find out what'll happen next time. I'll talk to you guys then.